Welcome back to ZNGP Today. 6 years after his last Premier Class crown, Marc Márquez arrives at Motegi with the chance to reclaim a MotoGP title. The Ducati rider, battle-scarred, surgically repaired and riding the form of his life, says his body already knows something important is about to happen. With a commanding points lead and only brother Álex left with a mathematical route to catch him, Marquez is trying to balance the extra noise with a simple race plan. Go racing like every other weekend and keep pushing for the win. Jorge Lorenzo may have swapped leathers for microphones, but his insights into MotoGP remain sharp. Speaking to GPOne, the 5-time world champion reflected on Ducati's evolution, Marc Márquez's astonishing debut season on the GP24, and the mental balance needed to sustain success. For Lorenzo, one thing is clear: the 2024 bike is a step forward, yet Marc's brilliance transcends machinery. Former GP star turned occasional wildcard Danny Pedrosa has been studying the modern MotoGP pack closely, and he's impressed. Speaking on Andrea Migno's podcast, Pedrosa praised Jorge Martin's one-lap magic, warned about the sprint's mental cost, and reflected on how much faster and more demanding today's bikes and race weekends have become. After a productive Misano test and a summer of learning on the RSGP, reigning champion Jorge Martin arrives on the Asian swing ready to shift gears. The Madrid rider says the season so far has felt like a second preseason, a time to adapt, and that the priority now is extracting outright lap time and race pace from Aprilia's package. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. For the first time since 2019, Marc can wrap up the championship this weekend. The numbers make Motegi a possible coronation spot, but Marquez is far from treating the trip as a formality. He expects extra questions, extra attention and extra tension, all the trappings that come with a potential title clincher. We will try to keep the same mood. It's true that it's difficult, because your body knows something big is coming. That blend of excitement and self-awareness is typical for Marquez, aware of the moment's magnitude, but focused on not letting it change the task at hand. With a huge points cushion, only Álex remains technically alive as a title rival, and only in wildly improbable scenarios. To realistically delay the celebration, Álex would have to take near-perfect points from here on while Marquez repeatedly scores nothing. In short, the title is largely Marc's to lose. Math doesn't win races, but it does change how the paddock approaches risk and strategy this weekend. Expect both conservative lines and bold attempts depending on riders' championship positions. Motegi is no walk in the park. The Japanese circuit can produce close quarters and tricky braking zones. Marquez knows it won't be a coronation by default. He's clear about his intent: fight to win, not cruise to collect points. He insists he'll race for victory even with the title in play. That mindset keeps him dangerous. Champions who drive to win in title moments usually end the story on their own terms. Marquez admits the emotional and physical signs of a big weekend. Your body knows, but is working to keep routine and focus. After years of injuries and a long road back to consistent form, the veteran's preparation now blends self-belief with discipline. The psychological tightrope is real. Too much anticipation can fray focus. Too little respect for the moment can invite mistakes. Marquez's experience is his primary guardrail. Álex Marquez is the only rider who can, even remotely, alter the maths. He's fast, motivated, and racing to preserve pride and second place in the standings. Marc respects that threat and expects Álex to push hard at Motegi. A sibling duel would add spice and awkward headlines to an already emotional weekend. Still, for Marc it's about being first across the line, not chasing who's behind him. Marc's game plan is clear: prepare to win, control tire life and manage risk. The same blueprint that has worked through his run of form. If the title comes with the checkered flag, so be it. If not, he wants to be the kind of champion who fought for the race, not one who waited for a mathematical gift. Motegi feels like destiny for Marc Márquez this weekend, but destiny only becomes history if he gets the job done on track. He knows how big the occasion is, and he knows the distractions that follow. The smart bet? He'll channel the pressure into performance, race hard, push clean, and let the title talk take care of itself. Lorenzo admitted he underestimated the gap between Ducati's 2023 and 2024 bikes. Only this year has it become clear, with Marquez proving what the factory learned. I had no idea of the real difference between the 2023 Ducati and the 2024. This year we saw there really is a big difference, and Marc is on another level. Doligna knew exactly what to choose. In his eyes, data and decisions align perfectly, but it's Marquez who has turned potential into dominance. Lorenzo knows the psychology of a champion: win early, and motivation can dip. Yet freedom can also spark better riding. On the one hand, you relax and perhaps have less hunger. On the other, you can ride freely, without pressure, and push harder. You have to balance hunger for victory with control so you don't overdo it and fall. It's advice Marquez may well be applying as he builds a nearly untouchable campaign. Lorenzo recalled his own role in shaping Ducati's path, noting how his wins accelerated development towards a more rider-friendly bike. I did most of the work myself at Ducati, proving the path was right. Before, it was impossible to lean the bike for long. Now Ducatis handle like Moto2 bikes. You can lean a lot, with more freedom in the line. The change he helped pioneer is now fully realized in the GP24, and Marquez is exploiting it with devastating effect. Lorenzo admitted his Ducati career never reached full potential due to physical setbacks. Marquez, in contrast, arrived with peak experience and machinery that adapted to him. I've never been 100% due to injuries. Marc had experience since 2013 and a bike practically tailor-made for him. Despite everything, the Honda wasn't bad, but corners were more complicated for me. Where Lorenzo battled limitations, Marquez has flourished, making the GP24 appear unstoppable. Despite praise for Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin, Lorenzo was blunt: no one is yet at Marquez's level. Marc is the best right now. Pecco and Martin are strong and can compete, but Marc is still on another level. There will be new phenomena in the future, but today no one can really match him. A champion acknowledging another's supremacy carries weight, and underlines the scale of Marc's season. From Ducati's evolution to the mental toughness of champions, Jorge Lorenzo's words echoed the paddock's sentiment. The GP24 is a weapon, but Marquez himself is the decisive factor. The bike has reached Moto2-like agility, yet it's Marc's balance of hunger, control, and experience that keeps him untouchable. In a field of strong rivals, Lorenzo sees only one rider truly above the rest. Pedrosa said the performance step in MotoGP is obvious. Modern machines gain time through both acceleration and braking, and that changes everything. These bikes go much faster, and you gain time in acceleration and braking. That raw performance reshapes lines, setups, and what riders ask of their bodies, and explains why old reference points no longer always apply. Pedrosa singled out Jorge Martin's ability to produce huge improvements for a single lap, a skill Pedrosa admits he never managed himself. Martin can go from a steady run to pull trim pace almost instantly. I'm really impressed by what Martin does. I've never been able to do it like that. One lap pace is now an art form of its own. Electronics, tire warm-up and confidence all play a part, and Martin currently nails the formula. For Pedrosa, the sprint has shifted the weekend's dynamics and upped mental and physical strain. What used to be a build to Sunday is now concentrated intensity from Friday onwards. The sprint, for me, is very mentally aggressive. Teams and riders must manage effort across more high-intensity sessions, increasing the risk of burnout and mistakes. Pedrosa's own recent wildcard runs convinced him how different the present is. He described Friday feeling like a Saturday and praised riders who can keep it together through frenetic race weekends. Now, Friday is like Saturday. Riders with this calendar won't be able to extend a career much because they'll burn out sooner. The calendar's intensity is a growing management challenge for teams, physios, and the riders themselves. Watching modern slipstreams and pack battles left Pedrosa surprised by how often riders can still pass, and how easy it is to get unsettled when close to others at high speed. What impresses me is how they keep overtaking. It's very easy to go off, crash into another rider, lose control. The mix of aero wake, high cornering speeds and narrow margins makes overtaking spectacular, and sometimes perilous. Pedrosa closed with admiration for today's grid, the speed, the depth and the mental toughness required to perform week after week. He feels the modern generation deserves credit for coping with the toughest, most compressed race weekends ever. I take my hat off to you. When I made those wildcards, it was really hard for me. Coming from a rider of Pedrosa's caliber, that is high praise, and a sober reminder that MotoGP's evolution keeps raising the bar. Pedrosa's verdict is simple: the bikes are faster, the weekends are harder, and the margin for error is tiny. He's impressed by Martin's raw one-lap talent and respectful of the whole paddock's grit, but he also warns teams to watch rider workload. In an era of sprint races and relentless development, staying quick and staying healthy are two separate skills, both vital to success. Martin describes his opening months with Aprilia as largely developmental, ergonomic tweaks, new riding positions and relearning how to get the best from a very different bike. He calls the Misano test a breakthrough that moved him closer to where he wants to be. I'm really looking forward to getting to Japan. The Misano test was very positive. We did a lot of testing and made a big step forward in terms of ergonomics. Treating the early season as an extended test program has reduced short-term pressure. Now Martin wants measurable speed gains. Martin says Misano was notable for improvements to seating, controls and the way the bike responds to his inputs. Small changes that matter at the limit. Those refinements, he argues, are the foundation for faster laps. Ergonomics don't make headlines, but they can unlock confidence, and confidence unlocks lap time. Having prioritized adaptation, Martin's brief is clear: concentrate on outright pace and race performance across the remaining rounds. He's dropped the preseason mindset and set concrete targets for the Asian Tour. So far it's been a process of adaptation, almost a preseason, but from now on, I'd like to focus on speed and performance. The switch from learning to hunting timesheets is the critical phase, one that will show whether the gains at Misano translate into consistent front-running. Martin is enthusiastic about the Japanese round, both for the track and the passionate fans. He says the trip is a chance to apply Misano lessons and enjoy the different atmosphere the Asian rounds bring. He's looking forward to Japan and the support from local fans, which he finds motivating. Martin praised Aprilia's engineers for the recent progress but stressed the need for continued focus. Setup consistency, tire management, and incremental development remain the job for him and the crew. Aprilia's recent form and Martin's adaptation trajectory make the team one to watch as the season's momentum shifts. Martin also referenced teammate Marco Bezzecchi's charge up the standings, a reminder that internal competition is intense. Bezzecchi's hunt for third in the championship adds extra incentive for Aprilia to keep pushing. He's happy with the team's work and ready to give his all as they target strong results in Asia. From learning mode to pure performance, Jorge Martin's message is simple and purposeful. Misano showed progress. Japan is the next test. If Martin can convert ergonomic gains into lap time and race pace, the second half of the season could be where adaptation turns into results. He's no longer just learning the RSGP, he wants to start beating it. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!